So this, like I said, is a tricky passage. There's a scholar named Ched Myers who actually has a book that on the Gospel of Mark called Binding the Strong Man that sort of comes from this, kind of this idea of Jesus really standing up to the strong man as kind of the political, the powerhouse, the corrupt forces, the demonic forces. So some scholars really look to this as a central passage, but for me, it's been a hard thing. It's been kind of elusive. But Mark's gospel, Mark does this thing where he starts a story, stops, interjects a story, and then adds another. And so he does that here. And then Jesus went home, and the crowd came together again so that they could not even eat. When Jesus' family heard it, they went out to restrain him, for people were saying, Jesus, has gone out of his mind. News story. And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, he has Beelzebul, and by the ruler of demons he cast out demons. And he called them to him and spoke to them in parables. Jesus called them and said, how can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but his end has come. But no one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his property without first tying up the strong man, and then indeed the house can be plundered. Truly I tell you, people will be forgiven for their sins and whatever blasphemies they utter. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit can never have forgiveness, but is guilty of an eternal sin. For they had said, he has an unclean spirit. Return to the first story. Then Jesus' mother and his brothers came, and standing outside, they sent to him and called him. A crowd was sitting around Jesus, and they said to him, your mother and your brother and your sisters are outside asking for you. And he replied, who are my mother and my brothers? And looking at those who sat around him, he said, here are my mother and my brothers and my sisters. Whoever does the will of God is my brother and sister and mother.